Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting installment of the Film Biz Show. Now today we are thrilled to be joined by a filmmaker whose unique voice and vision have made waves in the South African cinema space. From award-winning shorts to powerful feature films, he's a filmmaker that brings authenticity and passion to every one of his projects.
So the marketing side, and this is a new side, and I want to stay here because a lot of lessons learned. And it's something that I feel like South African filmmakers, this is where we really now need to have more conversations about this. Release dates is very important. So I learned also, because people don't want to necessarily come out in winter in South Africa. In winter, I'd rather be at home, and it's fair. So bring it out in summer. Take out your movie, September, November, December, January, when people are in the mood to go out, especially in cinema. So the planning around those sort of things, like theme your release date. As a producer, I was like, damn, I should have went for Easter holiday. Mm-hmm. Bad Bishop, it would have done well. It would have been conversational.
Please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification button so you are aware of our future episodes that you will love so much.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting installment of the Film Biz Show. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Mr. Vuyani Bila. Welcome, brother.
Hey man, thank you for having me. Really well done on the platform you guys have created.
Thank you.
I really do think it's gonna be a great archive for South African film history.
Yeah, man, we're very glad to have you here. You know, Jules was just saying before you came, it's just interesting how you've taken on the cinema space. You know, you've just like kind of stepped out and said, you know what?
we are here.
We are here, you know? So, we really are looking forward to having this conversation with you. But I mean, you know, Vuyani, you're from Mamelodi, a township that obviously one is I'm also quite familiar with. My mother's side comes from there, so we grew up there. Very interesting kind of township that you come from. Would you mind just sharing with us your background and what got you into this space?
Okay, so Vuyani is from Mamelodi. I like this quote by Scorsese that says, he said in the 60s, saying you wanted to be a filmmaker was akin to saying you wanted to be an astronaut. So me being born in Mums and saying I want to be a filmmaker was, imagine him saying that if he's in New York. Now imagine me saying this in South Africa, Pretoria, Mamelodi. How crazy that sounds. So but a boy had dreams, and I attribute that to my mother, who opened my horizons by giving me really great education that got to take me out of the environment I was in. You know, and to my dad, who had great taste in just culture, but most important, he had great taste in music and movies. And these are the things that he used to bring back cassettes at home. He was a migrant worker, right? Traveling from Petersburg, coming back, even though it was a white collar job. But every 2 weeks when he'd come back, he'd be like, hey, here's a cassette. And cassettes that stood out to me when I was a kid, I'd see a movie called Casino.
I knew about the holes in the desert, of course, and everywhere I looked, there could have been a hole.
Oh, wow.
You know?
That was
that was the first time I saw a movie and I was like, whoa, this is a movie. You know, it was 3 hours long. Jurassic Park, also one of those movies that stand out to me. Harry Potter really also opened up my fantasy eye. So having a dad that used to bring back dope movies, and I was just, if I wasn't outside, this world of movies would like really encapsulate me and make me see the world for what it is, like what the internet is doing to kids now. It's making this world like so accessible. Paris is right here. So I'm there, I'm seeing movies all the time, but then life happens and you're also outside. So started being on the streets a lot, and what helped me cope in the streets was rhyming, rapping. So then, but then I remember when I reached high school, I was like, look, I don't see myself having a white collar job. I'm not going to be somebody at a desk. I'm going to be an artist. I can feel it. So subjects I chose were always art orientated. I took maths lit off the bat by choice, not by force.
It's okay. We won't judge you.
By choice, not by force, because I knew I was going to be an artist. But when push came to shove, they were like, yo, you're going to have to study something. And my friend was studying music. I just didn't have that thing. No, he went to ASE.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember my matric year. Where things changed for me, it was the open day when people came. And I saw ASE there and I was like, I don't really want to study music like that, you know? But then there was, AFTA had a little stall, you know? And I was like, hey, bruh, what is this? They were like, yo, you can study movies. I was like, movies? They were like, yeah. I was like, for real, for real? They were like, yeah. That's what sparked the curiosity in me. And also having great teachers. This other lady took us to the open day. She drove us on a Saturday, me and my friend. Again, the dude from Amaskra. So, yeah. And then that open day, like, really... blew my mind.
Wait, anyway, because when you say again, maybe the audience.
Okay, my bad.
So guys, before we started shooting, we were just having a conversation about where we come from, and Vuyani and I realized that we actually went to the same high school.
High school, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that I graduated before, and I come from Hammanskraal, and one of his best friends also came from Hammanskraal. So that's the backstory. Back to the action.
Okay, yeah. So. Really great school. What was also nice is that the dean of AFTA at the time apparently had connections with our high school. So they were like, hey, we want to take you kids, you know? And everything was dope until I took the paper home to be like, hey, I want to study here. And it was like, yeah, except that time it was like 65K, 65 grand, you know, just tuition alone. And my parents like, yo, my mother sat me down. She was like, yo, bro, I know you want to do this, but we cannot afford this. Like, it's a real conversation. I understood. I wasn't spoiled or anything. And I was like, look, just give me a gap year. Let me figure out myself. I was hoping maybe I'd be rapping and building a rap career. They didn't give me a gap year. To cut the long story short.
But which rap crews were you like kind of affiliated with at that time? Like,
so is it like a Victoria thing? The young rappers?
Yeah.
Like I saw you make a compilation about the
Oh shit, so you used to rap. Oh damn.
We were part of, it was the blood spillers.
Oh yeah.
You know,
we were at State Theater. We were at State Theater, dog. So he knows.
I know.
No, but we were, but also this is to my, I'll say to my smarts, I realized the type of music we were making was not going to be commercially viable. And everything I always wanted to do at a high caliber. You know, if I wanted to be a rapper, I want to be on radio. I want my parents to see that I'm being fruitful in what I'm doing. You know, that plays later a role in me wanting to go to cinema and showing that I can do it at the highest of levels and international markets and so on. So the rappers I was affiliated with was like dungeon rap, man. Yeah, so imagine Bohemphatic Tabs.
Okay, that's
Sharp,
okay, cool. I get it.
And then boom bap and stuff. So where was I? I was saying now they're sitting me down. Like, can't happen. Plan B also on the side was TUT. TUT, I went there, guys. I'm going to say this short little story about my interview at TUT, guys. Yo, I thought I killed it. I remember they asked, let's have motivation. What are your favorite movies? And I was writing down, Malcolm X. I was writing down The Matrix. And, you know, explaining everything in detail, like, these are my favorite movies and why, and et cetera, et cetera. Dog, they rejected me.
What?
Like, they rejected
For real?
me. Like, I don't know what they saw. They were like,
nah, man, fuck you, man. This is not our type of guy.
Yo, I was heartbroken by TUT at that time. But then the next year, when I was supposed to do varsity, there used to be this walk-in thing where you could walk in and register and stuff. So my dad took me and he was like, hey, you're not going to chill at home. Your mother says you must study. That's what he said, your mother. So I'm there listening. But what's available is marketing. It was logistics, what. And then I heard marketing. I was like, that's advertising. That's close to filmmaking. And then I took marketing. Greatest social year of my life. Worst academic year of my life.
Oh, lots of partying.
Yeah, lots of partying. Lots and lots of partying. I
Hey,
made
miss
great
those
friends
good old
over there,
days, eh? Yeah.
You know? But then my girlfriend at that time was like, yo, bro, you're not happy. You know, go study this thing. Go give TUT another chance. Go try apply again. Dragged me there. I arrived and I did a second interview, which I thought bummed, sucked. You know, but that year, what helped me was I was carrying a camera. I was recording all the ciphers or whatever. I shot a documentary on my own, on my little HP PC. And I shot a documentary called The Theorist Lounge. It was a 40-minute doc and all of these things. And I was busy. I loved the camera, you know. And they took me. You know, and then that changed my life forever. Yeah,
it's crazy how it's usually you know, the interviews or the opportunities that you feel like you've given your best that aren't the ones that get you in the door. It's when you're like, that sucked.
That really did suck.
And like,
the only thing I remember was Prof. Alan Taylor. He was like, "You doing marketing?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, This is how I was answering, babe. It's like, don't lose those books. They might come in handy next year. You know, and I was like, okay, that's odd, but bye-bye. You know, but that stuck with me. I know he fought for me, you know, so yeah. And he might be watching this, he's back in the UK, but he might be watching this.
Shout out to Alan Taylor, man. Yeah, must have been a great lecturer.
He was. He taught me a lot about filmmaking that I still carry these lessons, you know. He said simple things that carry in my chest. Even on Face Deep, you'll see. He once critiqued something on screen. He was like, you know, South African movies, it's always sunny. You guys don't have weather in your movies. You know, that thing struck a chord to me. Because whenever I'd watch television and movies, I was like, damn, this guy's right, bro. Like, it's always freaking sunny in our movies. That's why in Face Deep, I put rain.
Okay.
I was like, no, dog, we have rain. You know, I told my art director, hey, bro, we gotta make it rain. We gotta make a plan. And on a little budget, we made it rain. They you know, the introduction of the mother and so on, it was a rainy scene. And there's a lot of rain in that movie. So, Prof. Alan Taylor, shout out to him.
Shout out.
Yeah.
What are some of the other important lessons that you might have learned from him?
There was a lot of also hard critique, my brother. You know, the film school I went to, they were very harsh, you know, and this built us to have thick skins, you know. So it taught me. Okay, one of the hardest critiques, and I learned it. I had to learn it the hard way. So my second year film, it was this movie about this girl who's trapped in this car, right? And there's an assassin somewhere who has like a laser or whatever on her. And it was 15 minutes, but it felt forever while we were watching this movie. And he said, you know, that was the hardest thing to go through. It was atrocious, like something close to that, right? And him and Dr. Heeman, they said, you know, psychologically, when you're putting somebody inside of a scene, like inside of a closed space, right? Like the phone booth or whatever, like people feel psychologically like tucked in. You get what I'm saying? You need to let that a scene breathe. You need to show exterior shots, blah, 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 blah. Psychologically, that also releases somebody to be like, oh, no, there's breath. You know, something in a movie that makes you close in and also come out. So now it's those little lessons that taught me in filmmaking. Oh, man, no, dog. You can't make a movie. It takes, you can, but it takes a master. You know, it's masterful craftsmanship to be like, okay, I'm going to put people in a room for 1 hour or so. And, you know, like great filmmakers like Sidley Lomé, I don't know if you've ever seen 12 Angry Men. Yo,
You ever watched it?
Oh my God.
How was it? What happened?
Obsessed.
12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men, man.
Sounds like my kind of film.
What is it,
Me and
1960?
Kev would watch that.
Yeah, 57 or so, 1957, a black and white movie. 12 Angry Men, man. Like that movie is in an adjudication room. Sidley Lumet, the mere blocking alone, how they take you through the story, it's amazing. That
And
is
it's in
genius
one
level.
setting.
Yes, basically one setting. And he's covering 12 characters, and this one jury member has to convince the other jury members that this guy's innocent, and this is why I'm saying. And then we are in this, and he captivates you the whole time. That is genius level directing. You get what I'm saying? So now it's those sort of things. Also, it also comes and plays in my movie, Face Deep. Because basically also the movie takes place in two houses.
My goodness.
And the lessons I learned from Prof. Ellen Taylor and whatnot, it came in because I had to come in fresh every single time. And one thing that, a note I took, people never noticed that this movie basically is two houses. They never came back and be like, no. When I pitched it, I was like, I want a simple story that takes place in two houses, you know. It must be just two houses, and we must tell the story in the most simplistic of ways for budget reasons. But then the story must captivate. Sorry about that.
No worries.
You get what I'm saying? So I was able to keep it fresh for like 1.5 hours. And that it's some of those lessons. And people weren't understanding the type of blocking I had to. I remember the DP, it wasn't Sylvester. Sylvester was sick that day. It was Marcus. He was like, yo, bro.
Shout out to Marcus.
Yeah. Shout out to Marcus out there. So he was like, this shot, it can't happen. And I was like, hey, bro, we're going to have to make it work. Somewhere, somehow, this shot needs to happen. We put it on a tap and all of those other things, and you know, because I wanted, there was a lot of things, a lot of details that were within the eyes that I wanted to get. But yeah, those little lessons that stayed with me, film school, that you like, oh, it's still helping me till today, you know.
Now, like fast forward a couple of years, you graduate from varsity TUT, then you become an independent filmmaker, which is a huge, like, you know, challenge for anyone to say, I'm going to go at this alone. What are some of the challenges that you faced as soon as you stepped into that role?
So, good question. I will accredit my naivete towards starting a production company. Because had I known what I know now, maybe I wouldn't have done it. You know?
For real.
The challenges I faced, there were a lot, but the main one is the lonely moments. You know, there's a lot of things people will tell you about the road to the top, but what they won't tell you is those lonely, quiet moments. You'll have a lot of quiet days when nothing is happening. And I had to learn lesson and teach myself things along those routes of those lonely moments. One thing I had to teach myself, I always tell this to young business owners in general, is that every day when you're starting your business or when you're on the road, always say, today I'm doing one thing for my company. One thing. It can be a big victory, it can be a small victory. But as long as you did one thing for your company, it could be, Ejo, I'm going to clean the office today. Simple as that. I'm just going to clean the office, you know. You don't have clients, you don't have whatever, I'm going to clean the office. Next day could be, Ejo, I'm going to do a logo for my company. I don't have a logo, you know. In that exercise, I learned there's a lot of things to do for a company, you know. There's literally always something to do. When you think there's nothing to do, there's a lot of things to do. But I was fortunate. In this journey, I wasn't alone. I was with friends. Now, this is where the challenges and solving of challenges came in as well. So I'm with Matabo, now my partner and producer, who produced Face Deep and other movies and such. I was with her bestie, Tati, right? Who was a director and now line producer, etc. And these were they were coming from the acting department. So the challenge was they didn't know how to make like the production side. They didn't know they knew the acting part. So I had to teach them. All my friends had gone, they went to TV and, you know, some of them are working in Super Sport as we speak or wherever today, right? And I wanted to make movies. And the people I made movies with at film school weren't there. So I had to now teach. I was with my friend from Amanskral, who didn't go to film school, you know. He went to sound engineering school, you know. Had to teach him. Hey man, this is what we do. And we were figuring things out together. Sometimes he'd be the DP, all these things. And then I had to teach my other friend who just dropped out of medical school. Who had just dropped out of medical school. I had to teach him how to do sound, you know? So, and ironically, dude, like he's been doing sound for us for a very long time. Like, he did shows that got commissioned by Showmax.
Wow.
And now he bailed me out again. He was literally my sound man for Face Deep.
My goodness. So he does sound now through and through.
So he does it when I call.
Okay, cool.
But he's studying something in corporate. But he's really good. He knows now. He even tells me, yo, buy this thing. It would really help us, dude. Like, you know. But whenever I need a favor or whatever, I'll be like, yo, bro. So yeah, he does sound and he does it at a high level. So I'm really, and the challenges was I didn't have people to back me up that I had the structure that I had in film school, but I taught my friends, you know, and this group of ragtag misfits, we got to do movies. Our first movie was to Ike, and it took that put us on the map, and that also changed my life because through that movie, I got to go to film festivals, and I also got to get my first TV movie, you know. Yeah. But it was stupid of me for trying to do a production company, but it was also by design, because my thesis, my micro dissertation rather, in my postgrad, my BTech, was how to alternatively fund films, traditional versus non-traditional ways of funding films.
Interesting.
So I was like, this is the paper I'm submitting. You know, I did all the research about funding films and all of these things in South Africa, and then Kickstarter and all of these things. And I was like, I can do this, you know, and I wanted to do things my way. And also it was me not wanting the traditional way, because it's very hard. Nobody's going to invest in a kid off the bat to be like, you graduated film school, come direct this movie. You have to prove yourself. So I didn't want that long road. I wanted to be like, I want to make movies now. And I started a production company, and it was a beautiful thing, man.
Man, it's just so happy for you. You chose the path that's not beaten. And that's a hard thing to go through, you know. Yeah. But I mean, to Ike, you know, you wrote "We Did It."
Yeah.
Then credits. What was the meaning behind that?
I'm glad you even noticed that. And that's the copy that we sent to film festivals. It was crazy to think like this ragtag of people coming together would create such a classic. You get what I'm saying? For us, it was like an achievement, and also showing us that there's light here. We can actually tell stories that can change people and affect people in certain ways, and also like really take us to platforms that we never thought that we could. And that's why we were like, yo, bro, like we did it. Like, can you believe we made a movie? You know, and it was just us ascending. And I thought about putting that on Face Deep, but I didn't. I should have carried it on.
That's a very powerful kind of slogan to put, you know, because when you're facing the challenges at times, you believe you won't be able to make it.
Exactly.
And it's like, this is way too big for us.
Exactly.
But you've really conquered. So some of the television films that you've put out, do you mind mentioning them and how that process went for you?
The first one was Harrison Kumete. It was Zanzi Magic. So they saw the hype to Ike was getting, and they also saw the movie, and they were like, hey, I remember getting the call. I was watching the Oscars. Damn, dude, now that you say, I was with my friend for a very long time. I was with my friend watching the Oscars.
From Amaskal.
Yeah.
You know, Amaskal people are very loyal, guys.
Yeah,
One thing you should know
I was with
about
this dude
Amaskalians.
watching the Oscars, and I got
loyal.
a call. They were like, hey, bruh, come through right now. And I was like, what? They're like, hey, the director just got fired, bro. Like,
Whoa!
if you can make it, you can get this job. And I'm in Pretoria, just chilling, watching the Oscars.
And where are they? Can I go?
They like Randburg.
Sure.
I entered the car, reversed.
I imagine the jacket you're wearing is flying at the back bar as you do this.
I'm going, and he's like, Spio was reading the script to me as I'm driving. I'm like, and he's reading the script there. I'm like, okay, dog, we got this. You arrived. Bro, I arrived there, and it was like, actors that I've been watching on TV. Well, okay, I can mention one. Samela Boy was there.
Oh,
She's a
dope.
homie of mine till today.
Dope.
And I'm like, and then they firing me with like 121 questions that I'd go, so this is what I was thinking. And I'm like, whoa, I just read the script, you know?
Like now?
Yeah, I just read the script.
No!
And you have to, you know, show them that you got this, that you just didn't arrive, you know? And, but fortunately, my producer was like, guys, you know, let's write this day off. Can we please give it a day? And we'll start properly tomorrow. So I had time to like,
Shoo.
everything.
So the initial expectation was you start now.
They had fired the director right then. He hadn't showed up to like some pre-production meeting, and he was like kind of MIA, and they weren't sure. And that morning he wasn't there. So, you know, the importance of professionalism.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just have to, this another lesson, busy lecturing. It's just being present.
That's it.
People just want you to be present. It's not that they, what Marcus is dope at what, just be present.
Be present.
You get what I'm saying?
present.
So people just want that. But yeah, I arrived in, man, I delivered a movie, dude. A dope movie, gave me dope colleagues. I mean, Sam, we're still friends, man.
Lovely, man.
And we still talk to today, yeah.
Lovely. I mean, it also speaks to, you know, kind of being prepared for that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you never know when it arrives, you know.
Exactly.
So, you know, I was just talking to Kumkani, actually, you know, it's a production assistant, part of our team. We talk about, you know, the importance of not being flat-footed, you know. Always be on your toes.
Being ready.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a batsman in cricket.
Yeah.
When the other one is hitting, you got to be here, Baba. Because you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
When it comes, bro, it comes. And you got to show up, bro.
But that speaks volumes, man. But I mean, in terms of the kind of stories that you like to tell, right? I mean, in the genres you go for, would you say you found your space, your own corner in this business where you fit or where you feel comfortable? You know, are you still kind of searching for that? But is there a particular kind of story that you feel you're more drawn towards telling?
Yeah, so I realized a few things about the stories that I like to make. Very psychological movies, you know, things that delve deep into a character's soul and also make us question and maybe even make us realize, let me say, why people do the things that they do. Although maybe not, you might not 100% get it, but you understand, right? But the dilemma I've always had in my career, I remember in film school, man, there used to be this other filmmaker, man. He had a signature, you know, he had a signature. I could step into the room and I'd be like, this movie was made by Smang Mang, you know? And I never had that. And then I always was like, when will I find my signature? You know? But then strange, now I'm in the industry and people are like, oh no, I saw this other review. Somebody was reviewing one of my trailers and they're like, Vuyani likes to do this. The eye is straight into camera. And I'm like, maybe I might have a signature, you know? I always thought maybe I'm like gonna be like a Ridley Scott. I'm gonna be everywhere.
Yeah.
You know? But my stories do have a certain, the type of stories that I do like to tell have a certain kick towards them. And another thing I realized, I like stories about women, bro. My protagonists are always women for some reason. Yikes. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. So to Ike, Face Deep, now coming up Kabo Haling, it's all women-orientated movies. Maybe something psychologically in me wants to champion a woman. I don't know.
But usually when you write your protagonists, you kind of see them through your own voice, because I find that usually that's what, writers do, right? Like whoever the protagonist is actually them, just dressed in a different circumstances, even a different,
Let me tell you. So I had to train myself to wear different hats. Even to now, I don't know how I wrote Face Deep. I looked at that movie in cinema and I was like, I wrote this movie. It can't be me. Because I remove myself. Because I'm very a conservative person. Generally, I'm very, even this is where in my directing, sometimes I'm too conservative. I can't let that go. But then when I write, maybe because I'm alone, I can literally just let that woman do what she needs to. She takes over. I literally put on mood music of like how I'm feeling this movie, this tone or whatever, and I just write, bro. I just let that thing. So once I've completed that, maybe you could say I'm possessed or something or whatever. But once that thing is done, then I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I tackle it as a director. Maybe that's Vuyani. Me as a director, yes, you can see my signatures. But when I write, I just let go. I let the characters live as they would live. So I'm very philosophical, almost like Tarantino, how philosophical he is when he talks. Or let me rather say, who's this? Now I'm forgetting one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. Apocalypse Now was done by Francis Ford Coppola. Jesus.
What do you mean just about it?
Jesus. Thank God you didn't. I wasn't going to live with myself.
Fine, we'll cut it.
Okay, yes. So,
No, we're
like,
not.
if you've ever... So, Francis Ford Coppola, the way he writes, like, I would say I'm akin to him, He just lets it all out. Artistically, all this fluffiness, wishy-washy, I'm like that.
But I mean,
Sorry, mind if I-
Sure.
Yes, Juliet.
I've always been curious because I'm also a writer, aspiring director.
Yeah.
And writing is like, as you said, you let go of everything, you put it on this page. Now, when you get to directing, you have to like,
Yes.
then think logically.
Yes.
Everyone has
Yes.
things to go. How do you enter that space of disassociating? I'm no longer the writer, I'm the director. I'm tell a directed story. How does that process work for you?
100%. So, good question. My thing would be, the first thing I ever was before a writer was a director. So I'm trained quite well as a director, and I know how to drop things. If it doesn't work practically here and now, I cannot hold on to this thing. I'm saying, but I wrote it this way. You get what I'm saying? I know, and I'm also very much a collaborative director. I might have heard it or written it this way, but then the way this actor's saying it, or how they interpreted it, it actually brings in a bit of more nuance than I actually had. So that's the beauty about filmmaking. It's a collaborative endeavor. It's not just a my show. I believe, for example now, because she's fresh in my mind, how Lerato Alaza is going to come in and I was thinking, how Luna, I might have had her as a writer. She might have this little thing, and then maybe I'll just guide here and there. But then essentially it becomes its own thing, As they say, there's the movie we want to make or we think we're going to make, and then there's the movie we're making, and then there's the movie. These are three different things. Three different things. You get what I'm saying? So as a director, I'm very nimble and very adjustable. And to the situation. Yeah.
So now we recently had a marketer on the show, and she specializes in marketing, with regards to films, marketing and PR.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the challenge that we have as creatives, how when we create, obviously it's a divine inspiration and you want to tell this narrative and you've got your influences, but then there's a commercial aspect where, you have to bring in like partners, brands. Even when you create it for cinema, it has a particular language that's palatable for that market. And usually as creatives or filmmakers, where we miss it is we're so inspired, but we are unable to kind of translate this inspiration into, something of commercial value. I want to ask, now that you've taken 2 films to cinema, I'm sure you've learned some big lessons.
Big lessons.
Yeah. You can see the cinema game has totally changed. Yeah. The films that they distribute there they've evolved, and there's a certain type of film that's taken out there. But what are some of the lessons you've learned from taking your films to circuit?
Man. So off the bat, man, because this is a new sphere for me, I've been filmmaking, just releasing channel, whatever, for a very long time. I haven't had as much experience in this landscape as I did when I was just filmmaking, and it ends there. So the marketing side, and this is a new side, and I want to stay here because a lot of lessons learned, and it's something that I feel like South African filmmakers, this is where we really now need to have more conversations about this, because it's a different game, bro. It's a different game. When you're competing with Bad Boys 4, bro. Like,
I imagine like a boxing match where someone is beating you. Wow.
I'm sorry. I remember, dude, I was in one radio station. I think it was Power FM, and it was like the last week of my move, and I remember I was like, I've done the best I can. In my heart, I was like, I fought. While I was promoting, I was like, Chief, you've fought, a good fight. But next time you must come back with muscle, So first is money. The elephant in the room is that we do not invest enough money into our movies. General thing that they do in Hollywood is that on mid-movies, they'll spend like 20 million on a movie, and then they'll spend half the budget on marketing. They'll spend another 10 on marketing. On big, on bigger movies, sometimes you can hear 2-to-1 ratios. You get what I'm saying? So money. We need to say, hey guys, and we're not talking about small money. We are talking about I just said Bad Boys, right? Fighting with Bad Boys. These guys didn't even come to South Africa. They didn't even come to South Africa. Do you think they even know that they have a billboard down here or whatever? But their reach is that big. You get what I'm saying? It's somewhere in South Africa. Go Mamelodi, or on a Bad Boys poster. These guys are in LA somewhere, Joe. They don't know that, hey, Joe, I'm in Amanskral. My poster's there. Can you imagine the type of reach we are talking about here? It's deep. You get what I'm saying? So now we must be like, okay, money first. I need to have a big reach when it comes to the marketing. 2, our planning. Big lessons learned here was, okay, we came out, when did Face Deep? Face Deep came out 31st May, right? Bad Bishop came out 19 July. So, mistake number 1, you're coming out during their summer. It's summer for them. That's when they're releasing their blockbusters. Here, it's winter for us. You get what I'm saying? So, Face Deep faced Bad Boys 4, Bad Bishop faced Wolverine.
Oh my gosh.
I remember the second week. Like, Wolverine. So release dates is very important. So I learned also, because people don't want to necessarily come out in winter in South Africa. In winter. No, I'd rather be at home, and it's fair. So bring it out in summer. Take out your movie. hey, September, November, December, January, when people are in the mood to go out, especially in cinema. Release dates are very important. So the planning around those sort of things, like theme your release date. As a producer, I was like, damn, I should have went for Easter holiday. Bad Bishop, it would have done well. It would have been conversational, topical, etc., etc. Other lessons, we need to build, especially if I'm gonna keep at this cinema watching culture, which I love because I'm a purist. I'm a pure filmmaker. I really, I saw there was a clip Adze had of you guys. You guys were, he was saying, hey guys, cinema is the way. And I really love that. But post-COVID, cinema is not the same in South Africa. So we really need to bring back the culture. And how do you bring that? How do you audience develop, et cetera, et cetera? So a lot of lessons, but it's the biggest one.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it's like you're fighting a war with a teaspoon. It's you really have to have the right armament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, actually, that also making so, like, when you think of like, I don't know what's his name. When you think of things
Do it, Jules.
like, you know how the funding goes: development, production, post-production, marketing, distribution.
Yeah.
And yesterday, our previous guest was speaking about the fact that we need to start planning from pre-market how to market. So do you think that also hinders us having to think about just what is marketing money coming from?
At the end.
It's like all
Yeah.
that you don't even know if you're going to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, does it not help? Because it's like, maybe as we spoke about before, the funding structure doesn't make sense.
No, it really does.
You know what Moretlo was saying? She was also saying that we should incorporate the marketing like from the development phase.
Yeah.
This is when I was saying like also as a creative creating the story, writing the story, you must already be seeing how it's going to be marketed from the writing and the
100%. I would agree with that 1000%. Once we can see it from development phase and we know, okay, this is how it's going to live, maybe the associated partners, et cetera, like it needs to be in the beginning. It's always been an afterthought for us. So what we currently sitting with is a lot of filmmakers sitting with their films in hard drives.
Sure.
Like it's legit. Like if you think how NVF has, I mean, these past, I'm just talking about PSP alone. I'm not even talking about how long they've been funding. 500 million, 2.5 billion. They cycle, it's their fifth funding cycle, Can you imagine how many movies have been done in that span? Or where are they? Yeah. That is the question.
And of those that have been made, how many are actually commercially viable?
How many? You get what I'm... So unless it's like we are doing this redundant cycle in a way, Not to be harsh, but it's the truth, We need to say, I mean, I was looking at cinema, I was like, okay, there's Face Deep, there's He's Not Ready, and then there's The Bad Bishop. 2 of those movies were independently made, bro. Oh, sorry, and before that, there was Jeffrey.
The game on.
Yeah, something Jeffrey,
Yeah.
right? 3 of those movies are independently made. Only The Bad Bishop was with the DTI, etc. Where are all these movies that have been funded, etc., etc.? Why are they not on the platforms? You get what I'm saying? Why is it that people have to put up their own monies, these guys, and then those are the ones that are showing, where are your guys' films? So I was looking at that, I was like, aye, man, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. And it's not, and trust me, cinema is now open. They're open to talking and open to trying to work with the South African filmmaker to say, hey guys, let's work together. Let's see if this thing works. So there's that.
But when it comes to distribution, which is obviously like a huge thorn in the backside for many filmmakers. Have you found like the way, or at least paved your own way of how to navigate that? Or are you still kind of struggling with each project? Do you see it, your vision or your model that you want to explore?
So I'm gonna give you the test results. Give me 6 months. You get what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like talking to distributors. I'm knocking at the doors currently. I'm hounding. As I did hound cinema as well. I had nobody, no in. You know, I had to figure out my ways and self-distribute. So right now, we're at our second window, trying to get into the VODs. I used to sell quite easy to multi-choice. But now they've changed strategies.
They've changed.
Yeah, they've changed strategies, and it's not looking like licensing is what they want to do. They want to commission their own stuff. So it's fine. I'm looking at the international market. That's another thing I learned as a South African filmmaker, is that we are too local.
Yeah.
We only think the industry exists here. We don't think, hey, let me take my movie in Africa. Let me take my movie somewhere, Jamaica, wherever, like the world, you know. We don't think as global filmmakers.
That's true.
You know, so I'm talking to global distributors. I'm emailing back and forth, trying to figure out, hey, guys, how can we do this? How can we get this into the diaspora? How can we get this out there? You get what I'm saying? So I've changed. I've literally pivoted and said, hey guys, okay, South Africa will come back. What we decided as a team, and also the other production companies, because Face Deep really did well internationally, you know. It was, and it's to me, it's to my, I don't know, is it to my greed or is it to my liking? I shouldn't have taken it out of the festival circuit so soon. But I wanted South Africa to see the special movie, because every time it's like, Liverpool, finalist, this movie. Yo, we just won an award in India. Yo, South Africa must see this movie. Let me bring it home. Let me bring it home. I should have left it longer in the international market, film festival circuit rather. And maybe we could have gotten an international deal, you know, had I not short-circuited it and just, you know, let it go through all the big film festivals. But we decided, let's take it back and see.
Did you find that South Africa received it the way you were hoping, or it was a bit of a challenge?
So, good news, bad news. Good news is those who watched it really, really enjoyed it. You know, I had people watching it more than twice. You know?
Man.
Which for me is like really great, to take yourself to cinema not only once but twice. That says something to me, and that's also something I've always heard about and read about in like the United States. Cinema watching culture used to be, you go once yourself, go with your girlfriend, with your friends. That's what they do. That's literally their culture, or used to be their culture, because they're also struggling that side. But just to have that about my film really touched me. So those who saw it, we built a good audience base. The bad news is not enough eyes landed on the film. Yeah.
But factoring in, you know, what we were mentioning about keeping the marketing in mind during the development process, you know, I remember there was one distributor who told me, and he's from LA, based in Cape Town. He was like, South African films don't do very well in the international market when you try to distribute them because of the way they're being told. And perhaps maybe also we've got a particular language in how we write, you know, particular rhythm that we are not even aware of, that's not very palatable to an international market. Whether or not it's new faces, or because even our biggest stars are unknown to these people.
Very true.
So I think it's about how we, you know, we need to have a signature that we know is palatable, you know, for...
Besides even palatable or a signature, I think we need to rise up to the occasion.
Yeah.
We need to have an international standard. We need to see where movies are being told. This is the standard. And we need to reach that level. The greatest compliment I received, fortunately, when I got to see myself in these rooms, I was sitting in the New Metro room with one of the head of content, you know. And she said, look, man, we receive a lot of South African movies. We have to reject. We are happy with the standard that you are presenting.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? And then they were like, we're happy to show this on our screens because there's a certain standard that we allow. So when she said that, it showed that I'm not crazy. We're not crazy. Because I'm always, my measuring stick is never local. My measuring stick is, I have peers, bro. I'm looking at, let me not name names. I'm going to sound crazy.
Drop names, bro.
But if,
Drop names.
in terms of writing, in terms of writing, I'm looking at a Noah Baumbach. The guy that wrote Marriage Story, I'm like, how can I get there?
You're being so much like your father.
Do not compare me to my father.
I didn't compare you to him. I said you were acting like him.
You're exactly like your mother. Everything you're complaining about her, you're doing. You're suffocating Henry.
That was so powerful.
You get what I'm saying? That's who I need to write at that level. When I'm thinking, filmmaking, I'm looking at, who's this? Now I'm forgetting filmmakers. I'm at a film show. I'm forgetting Jerry Bacon. Jerry.
Barry Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins. Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Film Biz Show. And then the filmmaker forgets
We'll expose you, don't
filmmakers.
worry. We get into the game section.
So I'm like, whoa, how do you write Moonlight? How do you direct Moonlight?
Tell me something. I mean, what you doing? Who you doing? Man, come on now. I've been back there in that kitchen, man, and cook for your ass and everything, man. Hey, these grandma rules, man. You know the deal. Your ass eat, your ass speak.
So I want to get there. I'm not saying I'm there yet, but those are the people I'm looking at, and I'm saying this is the standard. This is where we need to be. And once I promise you, it's not about our palette or whatever. It's about our standard of storytelling. Why is it Korea is now, how come they can watch Korean subtitles and watch Parasite? And, their style is their style. Why is it that people are watching, all these, even German movies? They were like, why? Or what's so strange about South African things? It's not that we are not palatable. No. We need to be truthful. Our standard is not there. We are not there. And once we can have those honest conversations and say, guys, why are we not there? Then we'll get to the truth and start now interrogating and saying, okay, guys, let's do a movie and let's be honest. If movies are costing, if we're going to look at Parasite and look at that budget and say, hey, how much did this movie cost? And you find out that it cost 80 million or 40 million US dollars. And then you want to compare it with a mine that costs 2 million rand. Maybe those are conversations we need to have.
That's true.
To be like, okay, guys, we want to compete at international levels and we want to distribute and all of these things. Why? Besides money, but also like all these other things. By the way, our talent, I highly, highly believe this. Our actors are one of the best actors. I can say this without fear or favor. Our actors are one of the best actors in the world. I'll say it like my grade 5 teacher. In the world, in the world, bro. Like our talent, we have such great talent, unknown talent, actors, that can compete. That's why even Tuso got absorbed so easy.
So easy.
They are like 50 other Tusos here. Not taking anywhere away from her, but she probably knows there are talented actors here. So we have world talented actors. We need to rise up to the occasion and meet them. And we also need this thing of making a movie fast, there's a lot of bad culture that we've absorbed here in South Africa, man. The art of making a movie is gone. Some people are just using this as a business, a bad business, they don't want to, there's no craft, they don't love this thing. That's why I loved Debza. Well, he's not ready. I literally, after because I went to, when they opened up the box office, I literally shaked his hand. I was like, bro, I see you. I'm glad that there are people like you out here. you know, because you care about the craft. That's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
And it's sad that people didn't see that film as well. There are some of us who really love this thing and are trying to, you know, again, no easy fleet. Stokiniko New Metro, they took his movie. Not an easy fleet. So give him his flowers.
That's true.
And I feel like he deserves, he's proven, if we had a healthy industry, that guy wouldn't struggle to raise money.
No.
It wouldn't. I once wrote a paper about this, you know, that I remember Ernest Nkosi, Zin Tuli, who else? Who did, no, these are the two filmmakers I'm remembering now. Ernest did Tina Sobabili. Beautiful film. Beautiful film. Zin Tuli had done How to Get. I might have not agreed with it that much, but it was proven. If you're in a healthy industry,
those guys would be killing it. Apparently, Zina was doing, you know, maybe
commercials and stuff.
Commercials, man.
Also, Ernest, I think, eh?
That's like we're losing talent to like.
Why? Why, bro?
Yeah, no.
These are guys. I remember watching Tina Sobabili. I was like, wow. There was Zin Tuli's short film that I watched that I was like, wow.
Yeah,
You
the
get
one
what
at
I'm
the
saying?
beach. There's one at the beach.
It's
with
the water ones.
Beautiful.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Absolutely gorgeous. But that's why when you meet like a filmmaker like Jamil Kubega, and he's got this resentment towards the establishment. You know, it's a bit shocking. Like, whoa, bro, calm down. But he understands it, and he's the one that says, no, I'm not going to do advertising. I'm not going to go and do commercials. This is where I'm fighting my war.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it makes sense. Yeah.
I'm also like that, bro. I'm like, I'm gonna make movies. That's what I want to make.
Yeah, man.
You get what I'm saying? So if we had a healthy industry, I promise you, if we had a healthy industry, these guys, so we don't have a healthy industry. We have an industry that's dependent on grants.
We were asking one of our guests, Anthony and Osime, and we were like, what's the difference between the South African landscape and Nigeria? He's like, difference is those guys don't wait.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Those guys don't wait. But also, in the space, you feel like a crab in a bucket. You feel like your options are limited, you know, and you really have to think outside of the box. And sometimes when you think outside of the box, it ostracizes you for a few years. While you see the guys who are playing the game normally, as they're rising. You're still that guy in the corner, like, hey guys, can't you see what I'm trying? Like, oh yes,
Yeah.
sure. I'm with Netflix. Watch us. You know?
I get
We're
you.
with the winners, you know. So you're like, oh, okay, my time will come.
Yeah.
Let me pay my dues. Let me pay this way.
Exactly.
Because what you're doing, you're opening doors for a new generation of filmmakers.
Exactly.
You're not just playing the game. So it takes longer.
It takes long.
But that light shines much brighter.
100%, brother. Yo.
We'll have come to the tail end of our show. We would have loved to get into the game section, but bills have to be paid and things have to be done.
I'm glad. So we're not going to do the games.
It's so easy.
That's so easy.
One.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me one. Let me hear.
Okay, cool.
What is one?
Just name the director and I'll say name the director.
Sure.
Yes.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay, now.
I love it.
We'll be back, dog. Don't worry. I was going to say to you, man, look, I mean, what you're doing, Vuyani, is absolutely just mind-boggling and it's very inspiring. You know, you are really beating your own path. And as a Film Biz Show, we'd like to give you flowers. We want to say to you, keep fighting on, because you're not only representing yourself, but you're representing a whole collective of us as filmmakers, South African filmmakers. And once you open those doors, you not only open them for you, but you also open them for us. So keep fighting. We're here to support you. And we really want to encourage everybody to see Vuyani's movies. Face Deep and The Bad Bishop, they've just recently finished circuit on cinema.
Yeah.
And we will be able to catch them soon. And soon as those contracts have been kind of confirmed, Film Biz Show will be the first to come and say, hey guys, check this out.
100%. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Stay blessed, bro.
Appreciate it.
Hola.
Appreciate it.
Sure.